that approach we take across the board, that disciplined, focused approach on solving problems, that we're going to keep going.
That's the make trades great again way, is that disciplined approach for solving problems.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt. Everybody knows that. We don't goof off ever on this podcast, especially not me.
No, never.
Hey guys, welcome to the Make Trades Great Again podcast. I'm Eric Awney. He's Andy Nicholson. We've got a special guest because we're at Pipeline here in Milwaukee. Today we're talking Packout. Matt, I want you to introduce yourself, what you do for Milwaukee. You and I have talked so many times over the years, and we're going to bring our audience in on this conversation, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, no, it's great to be here with you guys. Always great to see you. Like I said, my name is Matt Vargo. Been with the company going on 14 years now. So been hanging out with this guy for a long time and happy to hang out with Andy this week. So I run our storage business. So from the beginning, when we started getting into storage and started wanting to solve those issues in the field, I was tasked with going out to talk to people and understand how do we make it better. And Packout was the example there that we started with and have really been running with ever since.
I'm going to break off before we get into what's new, what's coming, what you guys have done. Let's just make a statement. I don't think you're even going to argue with this, Andy. I think Packout changed the game. It's such a kind of lame statement to put out there, like, oh, it's a game changer. Look, it did. Everybody else has better stuff now because you guys came in well thought out, came out with products where like, you got to have this, and here's why. And you proved it because it didn't break down. It was affordable. And people started adopting it and getting rid of their old stuff right away. So you agree, disagree?
Wholeheartedly. I've and I don't want this to come off sounding wrong. I've spent more money in this storage category that are things that don't get used on the job, if that makes sense. Like I take things out, the storage portion of it in my van or in the shop.
Oh,
right. Like they're not tools that you don't take it out and cut a board with a Packout, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not that type of working tool. And 10 years ago, if somebody said, hey, I'm going to go spend a couple $1,000s on bins for my van, they would have been like, dude, like we're in the wrong business.
Dude's
and I'm like, I am
business.
a plumber. I get it. We had this conversation last night about, follow the plumbers for the money.
Absolutely. We're the
Packout.
richest.
Yes, clearly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it all started, and I'm super humbled to hear you say that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was the
that
beauty
I'm
of
rich.
It. Yes, that in particular. I'm in awe of the amount of just coins, gold coins flowing from your pockets every time we talk. But no, around Packout, like I think the difference was we thought about Packout in the same way we think about a lot of things in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
It was, how do we make this a problem solver? How do we make it to where it is making you more efficient, making you more productive on the job? And no, it's not something that you're using to cut your lumber, to cut your pipe, to do whatever you need to do. But it is going to make those tools that you need to do that more accessible, easier to transport, safer, and make sure that they're protected while they're in your van. So taking that extra thought process and think of, we talk about Packout as part of your toolkit and part of the infrastructure of your job. Whereas a lot of our competitors treated, storage more like packaging, or more like, hey, this is something that you can throw stuff in and all that. So it was really just a different approach and the same, user-driven, user-centric productivity approach that we take to everything in Milwaukee Tool.
We started seeing it on new tools as they came into the market. Whether it was something you guys invented from the ground up, totally new to category kind of thing. Oh, and it integrates with Packout. Like it started to become a thing, like an expectation.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's a trade known thing. I don't know how many, it's almost every single job that we do, like let's say a boiler change out, right? We pull up job trailer, get in the trailer, the first 5 or 6 things out of the trailer are the Packout. It's fittings. It's whatever. Bring it into the job site, set it up in the job where we're in the space we're going to work at. That's like minute 3.
Yeah.
Right? Like the fittings are on the job.
Ready to go,
we're
organized.
Ready to work.
Yeah.
And that and then follows all of the tools that are in the Packouts, right? Whether they're on a dolly or they're on a hand truck or whatever, they're coming in the job and they're ready to go. And the customers come in and they look at that and they go, wow, these guys are organized.
Yeah. I mean, that dialed in appearance and that,
it's awesome.
the showing the customer, hey, have my stuff protected, I am dialed in, organized, and ready to go is crucial.
Huge.
And then we talk about power tools integrating it. I mean, we're very, very targeted in where we're going to continue to do that, but it has become a big focus.
Right.
Cross-functionally across, the power tool team, the lighting and lifestyle team, really the accessory team, the hand tool teams, we spend a lot of time thinking about what do we need to do to, again, back to solving problems. What are the common things that you're talking about? These are the things that I must bring into the job site or to the service call or whatever I'm doing that day. Where does it make sense, and how do we make it so Packout is a game changer for that?
Right.
In addition to being a phenomenal tool, how do we make it even easier to transport and move around the job site with Packout?
It's almost like we really like this product line, Andy.
It sounds like it. I don't know.
Maybe
Well,
a little biased.
Well, taking Andy's statement and question next level, you first talked about like this is the first thing into the job site, right? We pull it in a trailer, it's in the back of our service vehicles. We see it coming in and out of gang boxes, or you see it in the tool cribs and the bigger jobs. It's everywhere. It's everywhere for a few reasons. It's portable. It's, you have so many different parts and pieces to it, but it's super durable. That was a big thing for me and Andy. Northern climates, we were using other boxes leading up to this. There was a couple good ones on the market. There's no doubt. I mean, they were limited in their scope and what they offered, but they were, I call them good because they didn't break when it got super cold, because some of the other ones did. You guys, the durability for me was probably like right up there with usability. Like, how can I make this work? Because I knew you were going to just come up with more and more pieces, but the durability was kind of my first qualifying factor. And that brings us next. We had versatility, we had durability. You have everything in between as it expands, but you didn't have until recently any way to integrate this like in a commercial application, a repeatable application to get it into our trailers and into our vehicles. So now you have the first Packout kit. I'm sorry, you name it, because I already the rack kit.
No, absolutely.
Packout Rack kit. So this is for vehicles. It's rated
even
everything.
more than that. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, like we talked about, we started Packout. It needs to be the infrastructure for what you guys are doing every day. It needs to work really well on the job site. It needs to work really well in the shop. And that piece in the middle of transportation, absolutely crucial for how we're going to continue to grow it and how to make sure that we're adding that value across all the different aspects of what you guys and girls out there are doing every day. So with the rack, what we have is, a fully integrated system that gives you that full access, gives you that modularity, gives you the ability to take whole containers with you, or just take what you need from a container all in one unit. And I think, it started very much as a van-focused program. And what we've been able to see as we've been putting these out in the field, talking to customers all over the globe about this product, is there's value in it in the van. We have the Connex set up out there today. We've seen users put it in trailers that we've been testing with, even in shops, and it's really just elevates it to the next level to give, really a hub for your consumables or your power tools and other things like that, so they can easily migrate between all those different aspects of your job and still maintain that Packout modularity.
So we saw that the rack, I guess, was the first time I've put like hands on, right? Seen it press releases here in the last couple of weeks, kind of going, oh, this is pretty cool. See it in person, like in the variety of ways that we can use it. I mean, it is the storage solution, right? It also, like you mentioned, it gives us that ability to get that pack out safely from the shop to the job back to the shop, whatever we need to do. I mean, it lives in the van now. And that I guess is just really cool. What were a couple of the challenges that you guys ran into developing that?
Yeah, I mean, when you think about a van, it's one of the most dynamic environments you can put a product in. So, you bring both you guys live in cold weather, Montana and Minnesota. It gets really cold. So we got to make sure nothing is getting brittle, nothing is rattling loose, everything there. And then you think about vibration and just the constant, hundreds of thousands of miles on rough roads like we have in Wisconsin or like you guys have.
Andy drives really slow, and
I'm sure.
Yeah, he's like, call him Grandpa Andy for a reason. No, yeah, they must have to take a real big beating though, right? Even corrosion resistant. It looks like they have some like really good coatings on the metals and stuff like that.
So it's all coated. It's all powder coated on top of the coatings because we know that you're wheeling stuff in and out. There's going to be salt in there. There's going to be other dirt, debris, and everything else. So making sure it's going to survive that. And then, also going as far as, crash testing. So we've done full crash testing on all this stuff, and, it survives better than anything else that's out there. And we're really proud of the solution we're coming out with. And, really pumped with the pilots we've done across the country with the efficiency gains and the productivity that's providing across the nation with these users we've had it with.
All right. So I know, Andy, if you haven't picked up already today, they can't talk too much about what's coming, what's out there. Pretty tight-lipped, and we have to respect that. I get it. You guys are working on stuff that you would love to talk to us about, but maybe it's not even going to be available for years down the road. So, don't mention it, right? Okay. However, I have to ask those kinds of questions.
Go for it.
Looking at if you were plumbing and HVAC and you were a contractor like us working out of these vans are not, they're so much more than a vehicle. They're our workshop, they're our office. They represent
lunchroom, break room.
They represent us. Sometimes a bathroom, unfortunately, But if you were, I'm looking at it from that perspective, and I always ask you, what's coming? What can we do? What if you made this? What about that? I look at the rack, and the first thing I thought today was HVAC, cylinders, you've got refrigerant and stuff like that, storage possibilities. Is this going to be, is this rack or kit system going to expand as well? So it's not maybe just a way to hold a Packout box of some sort?
Yeah. So, I'm not going to give away everything, but I can tell you, we've spent literally, we launched Packout in 2017. About 2018 is when we realized we need to go deep in vehicle storage. So we've been looking at it for, the better part of a decade at this point. This is the first, product that's coming out of that research. But there is a long roadmap of where can we continue to expand this? So the rack right now is going to be a phenomenal supplemental solution to, all the generic shelving you have in vans now, all the other things that are in there. Put this next to it, you're going to see massive productivity savings. What you're going to see in the future from us is how are we going to make it even simpler to put more Packout in vans?
Like an entire box, just buy a chassis truck and you guys just drop your Milwaukee box on it?
Drop a big red box on the back.
Are you guys getting into EV? Just the Milwaukee service van?
No. But yeah, so there's going to be a lot more vehicle products, and I know tank storage is a big one that we want to tackle.
Safety,
right? For
organization. They take up a ton of space. You lose a ton of space with them, right?
Yeah, they're very inefficient. There's I feel like every time I've looked at the how to store and the regulations around it, there's updates and things that we need to make sure we're getting to. The new refrigerants, you got to store them in a completely different way. So there's a lot there, and we are definitely going to be tackling that and tackling more and more solutions for the van with Packout in mind.
Right.
So you're going to see a lot of it over the next couple of years.
Well, and that's an interesting market space because it is, like you say, it's a super volatile space because everything just changed last year.
Yep.
Right. We took all the rules and they're
reset.
Gone. Yeah. Let's try again. So that's cool to see. Milwaukee stepping into that refrigeration game, and obviously, the storage and the van side of it's going to be a thing to come.
Absolutely. And even outside of that, we've got next year's going to be massive for Packout across the board. We've got a bunch of...
You heard it here first, folks.
Right here.
Got a bunch of awesome stuff coming. Unfortunately, a little too far out to show you guys this year, but got some amazing products next year.
What are you catching a big one right there?
Reeling them in.
Reeling them in.
Baby. No, I like it. Obviously, we're big fans. We've done tons of videos on it. We talk about it in the podcast here and there. We're using it all the time. I think some of my favorite ways to use it is material storage. I use it a little bit differently than how Andy uses it, although we cross over there too. But not a big tool storage for my Packout. It's more like copper fittings, my electrical connectors, my wire storage, all that kind of stuff is housed in one way or another, taken out of my van, mostly lives in my van, but taken out of the van into the mechanical space. I'm putting in heating systems, then it goes right back out and it kind of just lives there. It's more like I have to restock it kind of thing. I'd love to see some kind of solution to help me stay organized on that. Hey, dummy, you took too many, you took too many conduit connectors out. You got to replace them. How can we work with that with you guys? Is that a one key solution mated with Packout or what?
Well, I think one of the, I'm going to connect some dots for you guys, but you may have met Teo out in our area today. So he's a digital product manager dedicated to Packout. So he's working on, the solutions for how do we allow people to go on our website and customize and build out their van virtually. But I can tell you he's going to have a lot more work around how do we integrate things like inventory management and everything else into the future. And I think one of the interesting things we were talking about last night around how you guys use the same Packout products very differently.
Mhm.
You storing consumables, Andy, you storing your tools in it. And I think that speaks to how we looked at Packout from the beginning, because storage in general is such a personal thing, and it's used so the same product can be used 100 different ways. So the whole goal with Packout's always been, let's build in as much versatility as we can and build out the breadth of line to the point where there is a solution for whatever you need to store. And we can make it the most efficient way possible, all within a holistic one system.
Right.
And again, it works everywhere you need it to work, whether it's a shop, van, or on the site.
So we keep touching on this subject of efficiency,
Mhm.
right? One of the key points, and I saw this bullet point out on the display, is Packout Rack kit saves you up to 15 minutes.
Yep.
Right, or could save 15 minutes.
Is that
how'd you guys come up with that?
So-
like saves you that much time in like a day or something?
It's per call, shockingly. I was as blown away as you guys are by that number.
Yeah.
But like I said, we over the past year, we showed the rack at Pipeline last year, showed some prototypes. Since then, we've had it in the field with over 30 different users across the United States. And with that, we did some time studies on them to understand, what does this mean to have one rack in your van next to all your, more generic shelving? And what we saw on average consistently was about 15 minutes of savings per service call. So the service calls average are ranged from an hour to 3 hours on some of the techs we were working with. But they would save, either a whole trip to the van, which averaged about 15 minutes of finding the part, or save a couple minutes over the course of 2 or 3 different trips back to the van. And that 15 minutes adds up really quickly to 90 additional calls potentially per year. So we were blown away when we got that news, and, have been talking with, those users and also their fleet managers and everything else. And it's one of those, we continue to go back and try and reinforce and understand, like, did we not carrying a 0 or something here and or not carrying a 1? And consistently, that's the feedback we get, is it just saves crazy amounts of time.
Don't worry about carrying the 0. It's not,
Math was never my best subject.
Oh,
so.
boy. So we're not supposed to lose credit the longer we talk. That's the number one goal in podcasting.
Oh, man. We better cut this off pretty quick.
That's
then.
right.
So what is so we're looking at this Packout Rack, right? Saving time in the van. How flexible? I mean, I had to assume it's like the rest of the Packout line, right? This is a modular thing. What can we do with it?
Yeah, so I mean, right now we've got the rack itself, which will come with 2 drawers. We'll have a kit which comes with 2 racks stacked on top of each other in 4 drawers. But the beauty of it is you can stack a whole nother rack on top in that same frame. You can tile them out to the side and build it out as big as you want. And in the future, we're going to have, again, not to let the cat out of the bag too much, but you can envision a world where we use those same components to build out a huge variety of different products, ranging from, mobile workbenches to, other solutions utilizing a lot of the same components.
In a world where Packout rules the universe, you're more organized than ever. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Yeah.
That's awesome. No, I love it. I love the idea that there's going to be more. I think one thing that you guys have proven time and time again as we kind of wrap this up is, like, to acknowledge you keep coming with something we didn't know we needed. And I think that's a credit to you guys. I'm not trying to blow you guys up too much. Obviously, everybody listens to a podcast knows Andy and I, we've been using this stuff for years. As soon as it came out, we saw potential and it solved some problems for us. But as we look forward to it, it sounds cool. Like, you got some new stuff and we have no idea what it is. I know people are going to be watching this going, okay, in your DMs this next week, Andy, they're going to be like, so what did Matt really say? Like, when he said you guys were drinking last night and you guys talking, like, what were you saying?
Those are going to be emails from Hannah and Anna.
Yeah. Trust us, guys. We don't know. We don't know any more than you do. And we're just as excited to see the new stuff coming.
Yeah.
I think that you touched on it. You kind of poked him a little bit and said, are you guys getting into the EV vehicle market? Like, I think that you guys could take this much bigger scale. The MX Fuel platform lends you guys to making, like, either whether it's like robotic or RC control, like vehicles for moving storage or moving materials. Like this is real stuff. This is not, I'm making this up, guys. This is not anything we know anything about. But if you use your imagination, you can see where like that product line has a ton of room to grow. Right. You could look potentially at vehicles that are using maybe multiple MX fuel batteries to move stuff from here and there on a job site.
It's all on the table. I'm still blown away every time when I come into Pipeline for setup and walk around and see some of the stuff that I, maybe am not close to and see what we're able to do these days. It continues to blow me away. Yeah. And I think when we have, like I was saying, those cross-functional meetings across the organization on where are we taking this technology or where does Packout need to go next, and we hear and talk about how we can bring things together, I would say there's nothing that's off the table. There's not a day that goes by where I'm talking to users or anyone where I don't get a new idea or hear a new way that people are utilizing Packout.
There it is, folks. Confirmation that there's an MX Fuel vehicle coming with a full Packout modular consumable storage for delivery on large job sites.
Absolutely.
I heard it had a mobile crane on the back, too.
Oh, that's a second gen. 2027. No, you're right. You guys are delivering on that promise of like, we're looking at everything, at least that's the message I get every time I come to this event. I'd like to share that with our audience too. Is like, it really does seem, guys, like they're looking at everything. Is it going to solve a problem first? Are these jeans going to make Eric look good? You're like, is that butt going to be tight? We talked to Wes Thomas earlier about, the workwear.
Yeah.
But it's, it's apparent like the new developments aren't just, hey, look, another shiny new red and black thing. Right. It's we looked at a problem, we solved it. We made a product that we hope to be the most durable, the fastest, the easiest one to use, whatever the case may be. Yeah. And we look at the rack, and I think there's all kinds of just all kinds of things they could do with that. I would love to see it in some more vehicles on the road and like hear from people as they're using it, as they're employing it into the fleet.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's that approach we take across the board, that disciplined, focused approach on solving problems that we're going to keep going.
That's the Make Trades Great Again way, is that disciplined approach for solving problems.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt. Everybody knows that. We don't goof off ever on this podcast, especially not me.
No, never.
No. Matt, thanks for joining us. Andy, you got anything more to add?
If there was one item that you were like, hey, watch, the Packout Rack, right? This is the thing. What's the most important component of that?
Of the rack or of Packout as well?
Wait, we were wrapping this up, and this is a really good conversation. This is a big one. I want to hear.
So I think when we think about the rack, the part that I'm most excited about is the ability, like we talk about two behaviors that we needed to see in a van. It was shopping and kitting is what we termed them internally. So it's kitting and shopping. Okay. So it's how do I allow someone to go to their van and shop and pick out, I need this fitting, I need this fitting, I need this tool, and pick it and find them easily, have easy access to everything. The other behavior is kitting. So I may have my press tool and my rings and everything in one Packout, and I need to be able to go and just grab that whole box, that whole kit at once. Yeah. So what Rack does brilliantly is allow both of those behaviors and really is optimized to do both of the things that happen in a van every single day very, very well. Right. So that blending of those two things is what I'm most happy about with the rack and most blown away by every time I see it.
That was kind of my first thought is you guys have an awesome van set up out here in the parking lot. And I walked in the side of it and I was just instantly envisioned that's the electrical box. This is my troubleshooting refrigerant box. This is my boiler service box. Like they could easily,
this is my cooler with my lunch in it.
This is the snack out, right?
The important one. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. That's cool.
Yeah.
I envision it in my own van. So that's what I envision.
Fantastic.
Guys, I want to remind everybody, look out for more Pipeline coverage either on our social channels or every one of our friends on the internet. We're all friends here. And Matt, thanks for joining the Make Trades Great Again podcast today. For you joining us, we're going to let you take home that Milwaukee Packout tumbler.
Wow.
It's insulated. It holds ice. It holds ice for a couple of days. I know I own like 4 or 5 of them. And I want to remind everybody, if you haven't already, hit like or subscribe on this video. Share it with your friends. We are the Make Trades Great Again podcast. 5 years running,
5 years.
voted best podcast on the internet by my mom. Thanks, guys.